This week in gaming, Shuhei wonders how Sony will continue to make money. PlayStation is being sneaky, and Asha Sharma continues to make waves. This is the Nerd Cave News, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined by my good friend and co-host, Derek Daniel. Derek, how's it going, my man?
It's going pretty good, man. Was on vacation last week. Now back on the grind, and I needed some rest because I'm back. I'm back refreshed, better than ever. Just get back into the swing of things.
Back in the saddle again.
Did not want to wake up to my 2 a.m. alarm on a Sunday.
I feel that. Like I was saying before the show and everything, I took a few days off just to catch up. We figured it out before the show. I worked 19 days straight, so it is definitely nice to get some time off and everything. But welcome everybody to the show. Hope you're doing well tonight. Let us know how you are down in the comments below. Amy says, "Oh Lord, they back again." Yeah, excited to be here. Everybody, let us know how you are down in the comments below. We got an awesome show planned for you. If you haven't already, make sure that you're tuning in on Tuesdays. We're in the monolith right now of Expedition 33. And it's been fun. So that brings us to what you playing. Derek, what you been playing?
Nothing. Because we had my mom's birthday on Saturday, so we celebrated. And then I needed to catch up on some other things around the apartment and whatever yesterday. So I have not had a chance to play anything. I have been watching, of course, as always, and will forever be anime. That's all my life is going to be consumed by. And I have to say, I'm not going to spoil it because I know since I know I have a way to keep up with what you watch on Crunchyroll, Zach, I will not spoil anything about the latest episode of Witch Hat Atelier. But just saying,
we watched it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The animation, in case I know we've talked about it, it's very Ghibli-esque. But if anyone ever wonders, oh man, I don't know, I don't know if it looks that great. If you watch this episode and still think the animation is bad, you need to get your eyes checked or you need to get off the pipe. Just saying. Just saying. But this is the best animation I think I've seen in a show for a while. And since probably Apothecary Diaries or Freerin or whatever. So, but they went in their bag and it just went crazy, especially the end sequence, the fight sequence. We can see why Keyfree is who he is, the way he is, and then of course had to end with some mystery twists and turns. It's okay, what does I feel like, even though it's a lot earlier than when we got it in this other show, I feel like the interaction between this mystery person and Coco is very reminiscent of Gachiakuta with the Raiders and oh my god,
the cleaners.
Rudo. So you know what I mean? His purpose, if you will. So her purpose. So, and Amy, I knew you were gonna come for me. I never said I didn't like the show. But with anything in life, you have to get. I hear her laughing in the background. With anything, you have to give it a couple episodes before you make
her just cackling back there.
Eat your words. You hating it now, you get it. All right, Amy, all right. I didn't hate.
You didn't love. You didn't love. That was the problem.
To her expectations. And last I checked, I am not married to her, so I don't have to live up to her expectations. So, oh man. So I don't want to oversell anything right away. I mean, it took a few episodes before I started selling you on Gachiakuta. So just saying, I'm trying to be consistent. So
yeah, we've been watching a ton recently. Marie and Annie asked, "Do you like Crunchyroll or love it?" I think overall it's a okay it's a service. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel like they don't necessarily have the consumer in mind with a lot of their decisions.
No.
But you know, for what it is, it's okay. I
Yeah.
wish we had more anime streaming services. I
Variety.
know Netflix has now officially like surpassed them as the Netflix place and everything. I mean, the Netflix place, the anime like service and everything, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, um, I like Crunchyroll to a degree, but I do think other
Yeah.
services do better than Crunchyroll just as a streaming platform.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not
Uh,
loyal to the service and the brand. I'm just loyal to what it brings me,
yeah,
which
exactly.
is anime.
Which is
So
anime. If I can watch anime somewhere, that's all that matters to me. Amy says I fell in love with Demon Slayer. Yeah, we watched Infinity
good.
Castle last night. So yeah, she have you watched Infinity Castle, Derek?
I have not.
Okay, well, I won't spoil anything for
Supposedly, the
anybody.
Chainsaw Man movie dropped on
It
Crunch
is.
on there today, but when I went to go look, it wasn't on there. But I might just have to refresh
Mm.
it or whatever. So,
Yeah, the
um,
Chainsaw movie is great. I want them to finally put Infinity Castle on Crunchyroll, but you know, that's
yeah,
neither here nor there. But yeah, we've caught up with Demon Slayer now, and then we've been watching Yu Yu Hakusho. We're in the Dark Tournament.
I saw that. I just happened to when I was done watching earlier, I was just clicked on and it's like they're already on episode 42. I'm like, geez, they moving.
Yeah, we move it, dude. It moves way faster than I remember, but you got to think it was back in the day when it was a week to week kind of deal. So it was like
Yeah,
it would take a lot longer and all of that. Um, right now watching Yu Yu Hakusho right now, and Kuwabara is my boy. Yeah, Amy has a sweet spot for the lovable idiots. She loves Inosuke as well. So
yes, that's fair.
um so I told her because Yu Yu Hakusho has aged, I will say, has
Yeah.
aged. Um,
Well, it came out in
but
the
I'm
early '90s, so
yeah, I was like, if we can get to episode 66, I was like, and we can stop after that. Like once
mhm.
we finish episode 66, that's the end of the Dark Tournament. I was like, that's
Yeah.
all I care about you seeing.
Execute episode 66.
Yeah,
Little Star
exactly.
Wars reference there.
I was just like, we got to get through the Dark Tournament, and that's about it. Inosuke is a crazy goblin man, and he could do no wrong. Coming through.
Right. Ganpachiro Kamaboko. It's crazy that the same guy who voices Inosuke voices Aaron Yeager. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah, that makes no sense.
But
But
also
dude,
the guy Alex Lee who voices Zenitsu also voices Ginu. So
mhm, yeah, it's insane. But we were watching Yu Yu Hakusho, and I was like, Amy, do you know who Kuwabara is? And she's like, no, who is? I was like, oh, it's All Might. It's Christopher Sabat. And she's like, you sure? And I was like, yeah, like
positive.
there's times when it hits, you know what I mean, but there's
Right.
other times when it doesn't. But
Urameshi.
Urameshi, like he's got like this like to it and everything. Um, Amy, yeah, some of the show did not age well. Looking at Yusuke, yeah, Yusuke. There's some things there, but there was this comment that Kuwabara had to Hiei. He was like, bite my ankle, short stack.
Yeah.
So it's just those kind of like zingers and everything. Yeah, Christopher Sabat has been around forever, and that is why he's the GOAT. You know,
Yep.
he's amazing. So what I've been playing, we want to know what you've been playing as well. I've been playing a little bit of two things. Well, three things actually. I forgot about that. I played more of the monolith section of Expedition 33. So I'm in the ice section of it
I
right
was gonna
now.
say, my question is like, how do you feel about going? I'm sure you caught on to it, but it's like when you go through the monolith, you're literally hitting every section you've been throughout in the whole entire game. It's crazy to see that it's like, it's all just in one area as well. I'm like, how does this work?
Yeah. Like, I'm like, it feels like we're padding a little bit. Let's be honest. Padding a little bit
Yeah.
of the experience. Like, this could be a little bit shorter and get me to where I need to be. But I know that they're telling the story of the paintress and everything.
Right.
So it is what
And
it is there.
and it wouldn't be as bad as if it didn't include like mini bosses and bosses like in each area too. You know what I mean? Like it only feels like it's dragging on because of that.
Yes. Yeah. If it was more of a few encounters here and there, but like you're literally coming up against some stronger, like all the opponents are stronger, which is fine. But then before you get into the next section, you've got to beat one of the people that have like the two swords and they're like cut in half and all of that.
Yep.
So been playing that. I'm at the point where I just want to just like, let's get this done. You know what I mean? I wished I had just like a day to just stream all the way through it and be done with it. Not that it's a bad game by any means, everybody, but I just want to be done with it because there's other things that I want to start playing on stream. Saros came out yesterday. I really want to start playing it. Not that I play it on stream, but we're also about to get Lego Batman is coming out this coming up month.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Crimson Desert has been updated a lot. I really want to jump into that. So there's a lot of things that I want to try out. But other than that, I jumped in yesterday. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you're forgetting about your game of the year, 007 First Light. I'm kidding.
True. Yeah, First Light is coming out this coming up month as well, which people are already talking about that. And I've also been playing Death Stranding. I played a few hours yesterday, and I was bragging on Death Stranding 2 yesterday or Tuesday. Derek, it is the only game that I have ever experienced where when you log in, it doesn't matter how long you've been out of there, it will give you the story so far. Like it'll give you like what has been happening. So you remember it's like, oh, and you can easily exit out of that and get right back into it. But it's been about a month since I played. So it was like, oh yeah, let's remember what's going on. And once I read the little synopsis, I'm like, okay, cool. I know what's going on. I know where I need to be going. And I played it for a while and I got a cool little surfboard thing. That's a coffin.
Okay.
Yeah, that you can
only
either
in Kojima games.
Only in Kojima, where you can ride it like a surfboard, a skateboard, whatever, or you can hide in it and it will go under the tar. Yeah, it's very interesting. But because Derek, I'm crazy. All right, I'm crazy, and I spend so much time building roads and monorails. It was like, you got to go across the map and connect this one. It's going to be a long journey. You can't use the ship to get there. And I was like, I was like, oh, you have no idea. I literally took a monorail up to here and then took another one down to where I needed to go. And it saved me like probably an hour or more. And with like 8 minutes, I was already there. And I was just like, he's the best. He's the best. But yeah, so it was huge. It was huge. So loving that. Been doing that. And then V Rising, dude. V Rising all day, all night. I would play that nonstop. Been literally having I've been either listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl or I've been watching Yu Yu Hakusho or whatever we're watching in the background. And it's just been so easy to play, and I keep leveling up. It's just so good. I can't speak enough about V Rising. As my chair slowly goes down, if anyone's watching right now, my chair is just like
I noticed that. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah, I'm disappearing, y'all. I was like literally trying to like sit up taller so it didn't look as bad. But yeah, it's been great. It's been great. I've been just really enjoying V Rising. And yeah, man, I can't speak highly enough of it. Amy says, I haven't been playing as much. I think I need to bulldoze my island. She's talking about Animal Crossing.
Right. So probably need to do a lot of weed eating too.
No, she plays a good amount. She don't. There we go again. It's going back down again, y'all.
Hydraulics are gone.
Yeah, need a lift. Yeah, I do. Joe says, I've been playing most of my normal stuff Monday, though I played Kanito Pet. It's a horror game that makes it look like it's hacking your computer. Huh. I haven't heard of that one.
I've I've seen come across TikTok, like live streams like trees hate you or whatever it's called. Like that is basically made to be a rage bait game, and that game is insane. Like I'm laughing, but I know I would have the exact same reactions as some of the people playing that game.
This chair. This chair. Like I have a hydraulic replacement for the chair because I've had this since 2016. Yeah, I've had it for over 10 years. I have a hydraulic replacement, but I can't get the hydraulic thing off my chair. Like it won't come out. So,
oh God, that's even worse.
Yeah. So I'm kind of stuck. It's literally the hydraulic things in the Alex drawer right there. Can't get it out. Anyway, that's what we've been playing, y'all. Joe says, basically you get a little desktop companion that wants to be your best friend forever. I'm sure that doesn't turn sour.
Yeah, exactly. That has no negative implications whatsoever.
No, not at all. Well, there you have it, everybody. That's what we've been playing. Let's jump into the gaming discussion this week. We want your thoughts. We want your opinions. We want your reactions to everything that's going on. We love to get to chat about all of those things. So don't feel like you got to be quiet because this is the gaming discussion. Shuhei Yoshida, full of grace, wonders how Sony will maintain investment in first-party games without releasing them on PC. And this is by Vicky Blake at IGN.
So former PlayStation exec Shuhei Yoshida has suggested that Sony will struggle to recoup the huge budgets invested into its first-party games without porting them to PC. Quote, in PS4 days, we are making AAA games with a big budget, Yoshida said. I somehow felt the bigger the budget, the safer in some strange way. Creating bigger, better-looking games that people are asking for. In the past, it kind of worked, business-wise. But in the last 5 years or so, publishers and developers must have realized that model may not be sustainable. Releasing games on PC after a couple of years might have helped recoup the investment of these big budget games and help the team and company to reinvest that money into their new games. So from a business standpoint, I think it made sense for me. If they were releasing new AAA games day one on other platforms, I don't think that's a good strategy for a platform holder like PlayStation. I'm not seeing any proof of them changing their strategy this generation, but if they are changing it, it's going to be interesting how they are able to maintain the investment on the big budget games on the first party side going forward. In recent years, Sony has expanded PlayStation to PC, but refrained from going on as far as Microsoft, which releases all its games on PC at the same time as console, instead taking a staggered approach and releasing its single-player PlayStation games on PC after a period of console exclusivity. Single-player games will now allegedly remain console exclusive, marking a significant strategy shift and a return to console exclusivity at a time when console rival Microsoft is all in on multi-platform. And I get what he's saying here, right? Because it's fresh flow of cash. It's like, and it's a win-win. It's like, all right, you get your console release, you get that mega budget or that mega cash influx on release, and then it's like, okay, you give it like 6 to 8 months. And I know that it was like a couple of years in the beginning type deal for some of their PC porting over their PC first party games, and then but when they release, it's like a new, like how much new fan base. Like we see that it's not as prominent as it was about even last year, but Days Gone sees more of an influx. in player base because it's on PC. Spider-Man got a huge influx. Horizon, God of War. How many more of these games like got brought in new cash flow? And he's right. It's like, when you bring in more, because most, the average game, you make most of you try and hit most of your budget back in the first couple weeks of a game's release. And yeah, you still have a couple, like the first couple months, that you can still see a cash influx, but usually after about 2-3 months it's dead, and then you just start putting it, on sales and whatnot, just to get the numbers up. But now, like when you put it on PC, it's like it's a whole brand new release, and that new money comes in, and then that, especially with these huge budgets now, like I know Marathon had a $200 million budget, which is still insane to me. For like, we're getting movie budgets for video games. It's ridiculous, like how crazy that money is. But especially with how long development time takes now to make these huge AAA blockbuster action games, you need all the time and money that you can spare. And porting that over, and like porting it to PC, helps mitigate some of those extra expenditures. But now, and I see, initially when I saw that he said, "Oh, releasing it day one on PC would not be a good thing," I'm like, well, yes and no. But the way he breaks it down, it makes sense now, because if you released it day one on PC and PlayStation, then you can't rely on that influx of cash later down the road. So, Zach, what
Yeah.
what is your take on this?
Well, like let's take Spider-Man 2 as an example.
Okay.
Their budget was $315 million. That's with an M.
Ridiculous.
Million dollars for the game. And we both enjoyed Spider-Man 2. I think they did a lot of great improvements on quality of life stuff. I like
Yes.
thinking about the story, like looking back at it and everything now, being several years out from it, the story isn't as strong as I feel like Spider-Man 1's story was.
Yeah, I mean, it had some moments in the third act that made you go, okay, all right, this is kind of crazy. And then, but overall, I kind of agree, except for that one section where with Venom and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It definitely had those moments, and then the one in I think it was in Act 3 with Mary Jane, and that whole thing, and like it still had its, but even and I definitely agree with you. Like, it didn't hit, because then when it went to like, well, games old and been out for enough. Like, minor story spoiler here, just in case you want to avoid it. When it turned into symbiote world,
Yes.
I was like, okay, that's when it kind of felt a little cheesy.
Yeah. It was overstaying its welcome, and it was like, how can we make this next part bigger and all of that? And then it felt like, because so it just felt like there was a lot of padding in there. So I'm hoping that the story will be better in Wolverine, because I feel like Spider-Man 1, way better storytelling, even with like, even early on in Spider-Man 2 with like is like Negative Man or whatever his name is, like
Mr. Negative,
Mr. Negative, like that, like pulling from the first one with his dad and everything. Like, I thought that was cool, but like as we went on, there was less and less like oomph in the tank. There was less go. Yeah. But when you look at, they spent $315 million on this, and they sold about 10.5 million units. So they got about a 35% return on this game.
Yeah. That's not good.
That's not good. And I know like the Spider-Man 1 sold crazy, but again, the amount of money that they put into it was way less. And I do think that Sony's approach to getting these on PC was a better way, because we've definitely seen Xbox's way of trying to get everything on all things at once, and all of that has kind of pushed back. We've gotten more pushback on that in recently. So I think that this was a knee jerk reaction to a bigger problem with Sony. Um,
Yes.
so I'm very cautious on what's going to happen here because they also closed. I think did they also close the studio that was doing all the ports?
Nixus?
Yeah, because I remember they.
I don't know. I don't think there's not been an official thing. I know there was speculation like what's going to happen to Nixus
Yeah,
now because of that, but I don't think they've officially closed the studio.
I'm looking it up. I don't think so either, but I think if they really, I know they also are worried about Xbox becoming a PC and all of that.
Yeah.
And like PlayStation games going on in Xbox and all of that. It's like if you're really afraid of that, like you got to think people are going to hack things. Like you can have all these different things on each console. Like you could play. I'm sure somebody's playing PlayStation games on Xbox at this point. You know what I mean? So it's like.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Nixus has not been closed. It's still open. So it's like I don't know. It's a weird place. They have to make money. I also think development has to be smaller overall. I think the experiences need to be smaller and more fine tuned. As
Yeah.
much as I loved swinging through New York and everything, I think it could be a much smaller, more refined experience story wise and take what is already there and make a lot more money.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be spending.
Like a Miles Morales.
Yeah, like I love Miles Morales. That story was amazing. But 315 million and then you got Concord that lasts 2 weeks and you paid over 200 million for that. Like it's just trash. Like it's not smart money. So I'm in the same boat as Shuhei. I'm wondering why, and I think a lot of it is out of fear and not out of actual smart ways to think about this.
Business sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
well, you know.
yeah. Which brings us to our next segment, and that is PlayStation 5 appears to have quietly introduced DRM checks, prompting player confusion. And this is by Tom Phillips at IGN.
So, reports are rife that Sony has quietly added online DRM checks for newly launched PlayStation 4 and 5 games, though the company is yet to clarify what this might mean for players. Fans spotted mention of a new online check-in over the weekend as highlighted by noted game preservation source Does It Play. In a post on Twitter, Does It Play stated that, quote, newly purchased PS4 games now show a 30-day valid license timer, something that was, quote, most likely introduced in the March 2026 firmware update. The post continued, PS5 is affected too, but only shows an error when starting a game. The suggestion here is that Sony has implemented a background check on newly bought digital games purchased from March 2026 and onwards to detect whether players are trying to boot a legitimate copy of a game, with a 30-day grace period should your console be offline. Numerous users have posted evidence of chat conversations where they contacted PlayStation's official customer support about the issue, though the agents they spoke with do not seem fully briefed on the situation, adding further to the confusion. Quote, can't believe Sony hasn't said anything yet, considering how much attention it's getting. One fan wrote on social media, replying to one of the posts by Does It Play, detailing the current issue. Quote, hopefully they say something soon so we can at least know what's going on. Not going to happen, Does It Play replied. When we discovered the CBOMB a couple of years ago, they even denied its existence publicly, only to fix it quietly a few weeks later. Don't expect them to say anything. They have known about issues with their new DRM implementation for weeks already. They basically have to patch it, or the backlash of reintroducing the old issue will be monumental. So, obviously, the the issue is, them sliding this in and not, being forthcoming with it, and it kind of, being a sleazy business practice. However, I look at it a different way. It's just like and maybe we come from a place of privilege, you and I, because we live in places where we have internet access and we can always play or have an internet connection. So it's like when I read this, I'm like, okay, like the ignorance in me was just like, okay, um, it, just make sure you're connected and whatnot. Like I know if you have an internet outage right as you're about to play, cool, you can't ping it, and it just needs to ping once to verify, and then if you choose to go offline, you can. But I understand not everyone has great internet access. That they only or at least have a good, great bit rate. So they might just want to connect it, like download any updates, and then play offline. Or they don't, or they have to go over to a friend or a family member's house to do their thing, and they don't always have that access. I get it. So, but again, it's like it is sleazy, but I also look at it from a place of just be connected, man. Like I'm not defending PlayStation in this, but at the same time, I'm just like, what's really the issue here?
Mm.
And once you connect it within the 30 day, if the timer goes off and you connect it back in the 30 days, you can just play it again. Like unless you can't. Like I can't say I've dove deep into this issue. So if that is the case, then yeah, then that's very sleazy of PlayStation. Zach,
So
I know you about to come from my neck, so go ahead.
I am growing up in a place where you don't have internet and everything. This is a huge deal. Like when you buy something, and I know everything is now you buy a license to be able to use it. You're not buying an actual game and all of that, which I think is hogwash.
Correct.
You can hear my southern coming out here. It's
Yeah.
hogwash. This is I feel like a response to a small minority of users that are abusing the system, because what would happen for everybody that doesn't know is people would buy a game and then they would, because they had jailbroken PlayStation 4s, maybe some PlayStation 5s as well, they'd buy a game and then they would refund it, get a refund, and then because it was jailbroken, they were able to keep the code and they were able to get that money and still play the game without any issues. That was the problem, that
Right.
a
So
lot of this
free
is
games.
free games. Now, a lot of places, like countries where literally, like in Brazil, a PlayStation 5 costs over $1,000 USD. Okay.
Woof.
Games itself in like in Africa and all of that, like are really crazy expensive. Even digital games,
Yeah.
because of exchange rates and all of this kind of stuff. So they are going to do this regardless. They're going to bypass this DRM eventually and keep doing what they're doing. And I was listening to Luke Steven, a very interesting guy. He streams every day on, or almost every day, talks about video game news, and he pulled up a Gabe Newell quote, and I thought it was very interesting. Let me pull it up myself. Because it was just like, man, this is spot on, because I feel like if PlayStation was really doing it right and really had things where it was, you know, available for everybody, this would not be an issue. The quote is, "The easiest way to stop piracy is not by putting anti-piracy technology to work. It's by giving those people a service that's better than what they're receiving from the pirates." Why do
Fair.
people pirate movies? Why do people pirate anime, Derek?
Because they don't either support, it's either too expensive, or the service isn't great, or they don't want to support the company,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
the company, yeah, whatever. So
Yeah. So what has happened with services across the board? Everything has gotten more expensive. Well, guess what? Piracy, unfortunately, is the cheaper way to do it. People will pay
yeah,
pirates a smaller amount of money to not have to pay big corporations money. at this moment. And this DRM situation is not just for people that want to get stuff for free. The reason I was kind of like, I feel like your take is a little off from mine is game conservation. Like, so many times we have games that are being pulled offline or whatever issue. If you buy the game, it should be yours. It should not be an issue of, oh, it's got to check this, it's got to ping this, and, you know, got to be online. What did Shuhei Yoshida, full of grace, do at the first conference revealing the PlayStation 4 and how they shared games, Derek?
This is how you share a game, and handed it to Adam Boyes.
But now we're doing the exact opposite. We're playing off of Xbox One DRM stuff. It's like, thankfully you get, you know, you're not online and all that. So I did a little bit more digging on this as well. And I know we got PlayStation's response, and they might have updated since this, you know, the videos that I watched and all of this. So what would happen is if you went offline, like you took your system offline or whatever, there's a 15-day like code that is connected to your account. After that 15 days, it would go inactive. Okay, I know they're saying 30, but it was 15 days. You would get a 2-week code because that is the return policy window for PlayStation is 14 days. So once you got past that, it would give you a code that would stay forever. So there was also like it's like a little watch battery or whatever that's in the PlayStation. If you take that out, it also tells the PlayStation doesn't know when, like what time it is and all of that. It keeps the time even when things are unplugged. So there's a lot of different ways around this. But I don't think that this is the best way. And when they're silent, and this happened like last week, this has been several, like this, it wasn't just like a day or two ago. It's just been growing momentum and everything. This is not good. This is not what PlayStation needs to be doing. This needs to be a different way to handle the piracy issues. And if that's the problem, then you need to figure out, why are people going to pirate stuff? Is it the cost? Is it the service? Like, is PlayStation like network suck? What is it? You know what I mean? Why are people doing this? Why are people, you know, why do people get ROMs of old Nintendo games? Because Nintendo charges out the wazoo for their games that are 50 years old. It's not 50 years old, but you'll know what I mean. I've been on a rant for too long, Derek. I know we've got to correct. Yeah. So we do have a response from PlayStation, and this is by Cade Onder at IGN.
So fans have been left to speculate over what exactly this means for PlayStation, but we're left with concrete confirmation. Without concrete confirmation. Thankfully, Sony has broken its silence on the matter. In a statement to GameSpot, PlayStation confirmed that there is a one-time check-in to confirm the license, but beyond that, players won't experience any interruptions. Quote, players can continue to access the play their purchased games as usual, reads Sony's statement, connected online, and when they downloaded a digital game, they need to be connected to the internet anyway. It is believed that this check is partially done to prevent anyone from getting a refund for a game and then taking their system offline to continue using it without a valid license. And it goes back to what you were just talking about, Zach, about, you know, like this is what the main thing is to combat this. So if that's the case, kudos, you know what I mean? But if this is just to be corporate greedy, then, you know, kick rocks, you know what I mean? Like, don't be that guy. The question shouldn't be is like, how do we stop the piracy? The question should be is, why is there piracy? Like, why are they going to pirate their stuff rather than just coming and spending their hard-earned money and just buying our games? You know what I mean? And when you're not asking the right questions, you're not going to make the best business decisions for the consumers.
Exactly. And I think when you get down to it, is there's always going to be people that are skirting the law or the system,
Oh yeah.
whatever. Like, there's always going to be those people. Those are the minority, like a very, very small margin of people.
Mm-hmm.
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Well,
but we do that too much nowadays.
Yeah, we do it way too much. Way too much. Let's talk about
We lost your sound.
Okay, there we go. We've got it back. Guys, hit that like button so you don't miss out on anything that we're doing here. It helps tell the algorithm that we're all doing good stuff. Let's talk about Xbox, because they had an interesting week as well. Xbox has done a rebrand and a recommitment to itself, and this is by Ryan McCaffrey at IGN.
In a new mission statement of sorts emailed to Xbox staff and posted on Xbox Wire, new Xbox CEO Asha Sharma and Xbox Chief Content Officer Matt Booty laid out new priorities and objectives for the Xbox team, including a reevaluation of exclusivity, a focus on affordability, and evolving third-party partnerships, while acknowledging that players are frustrated. The post, titled "We Are Xbox," admits that, quote, new feature drops on console have been less frequent. Our presence on PC isn't strong enough. Pricing is getting harder for people to keep up with, and core experiences like search, discovery, and social and personalization still feel too fragmented. Developers and publishers are asking for more too: better tools, better insights, and a platform that helps them grow faster. It promises that Xbox will be built to be affordable, personal, and open. We will offer flexible pricing so it's easy to get started and keep playing, while citing four priorities: hardware, content, experience, and services. In hardware, Xbox will seek to, quote, stabilize Gen 9 as a healthy and high quality base and deliver Project Helix to lead in performance and play your console and PC games. On the content side, the team aims to grow and extend an enduring portfolio of franchises players love, evolve our third-party partnerships, and strengthen our 5-year slate, and expand into China, emerging markets, and mobile-first audiences. Regarding experience, Xbox wants to fix the fundamentals for players and partners and with services, fortify Game Pass with clear differentiation and sustainable economics, and use M&A deliberately to accelerate growth where organic paths are too slow. Thus, it should seem that Xbox might not be done acquiring studios. Our new North Star will be daily active players, Sharma and Booty stated in the letter. Perhaps most immediately notable for gamers, the duo say they will, quote, reevaluate our approach to exclusivity, windowing, and AI, and share more as we learn and decide, seemingly leaving every option on the table while not committing to any new direction in these areas just yet. And, again, I brought this up when we talked about Asha Sharma's vision for what she wants where she wants to take the company in ascensions to like a presidential, like a political election. The first 30 days in office, you want to execute as many executive orders as possible. She already lowered the price of Game Pass, which again was shocking. It's very rare that you see, oh, I want to implement this, and then like it doesn't happen until like a few months after the initial statement is made. But yet here we did not barely a week, from when we talked about it, they already implemented it, and it was crazy. So it makes you feel like the sky is the limit with certain reasons. Obviously, they can't just flip a switch on some of these overnight, just like they could with Game Pass. You know what I mean? Like that was an easy fix, I feel like. But a lot of this is going to take time, especially with the growth, because they realize, again, they even Phil Spencer talks about this all the time. They lost the most important console generation race between the 360 and the PS3. They had the generation by the horns for majority of the lifetime, and then PlayStation came in at the 11th hour and took the rug out from their feet and won the console generation that year, and they haven't recouped since. For as far as Xbox is concerned, so they need to really focus on what, and they've tried with the whole Game Pass, like this is going to be the future, and that kind of hasn't, especially with the price increases and whatnot, that's turned a lot of fans off. So that wasn't the move. So now it's like, okay, what? And I still think Game Pass will be an important factor, but I think the way, and maybe I'm reading into it the wrong way. Reading this statement, it makes it sound like Game Pass will be a part of their future, but it's not going to be the focal point going forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are understanding, like, going from Microsoft Gaming Studios back to Xbox, I think is a huge, hey, we're here, we are staying, and we're focusing on Xbox. Xbox, not just PC, because it felt for a very long time PC was the push for everything. It felt like the PC was the end all be all, like they were just trying to get us to there. But now it's like, hey, we're really focused on the console. We really want the console to do well. And we are Xbox. They got rid of the, this is an Xbox campaign and all of that, pulled that totally off. They're really focusing down. And that messaging to me, along with reducing the price of Game Pass, is telling me so much of what we are going to be hopefully getting in the next year. We're getting focused on the consoles, updates to the consoles, like the OS and all of that, things that need to be addressed instead of literally just robbing Peter to pay Paul. Because I feel like that's all they've been doing, is they've been just moving money from one place to another, moving effort to one place to another to try to appease people. And it's like, no, we need to focus on people playing games. That is our key metric. People being active and playing games, not watching movies, not watching YouTube on the Xbox, people playing games on the Xbox, on Game Pass, whatever it may be. And there is talk of potentially another tier 4 Game Pass that was done in like a data mine. And it's called Xbox Game Pass Starter Edition, and it will have a lot of the stuff that comes with Game Pass. You get 10 hours of cloud gaming, Xbox Awards and all of that, but they won't have online multiplayer in that pass because everything else has online multiplayer. And it reminds me a lot of when it used to be Xbox Silver and Xbox Gold, Live Gold and Live Silver. Do you remember that back in the day?
Yes, I do remember that.
So it's like, okay, we're taking kind of cues from past generations that did work and all of that. But I think having a $10 version of Game Pass, like we talked about a few weeks ago, it's like add another version that's cheaper. Like have it where it's like you get in at the base floor or whatever, but you really build up some new fans. You get people in there and it's like, hey, if you got 100,000 people paying $10 a month that joined in, dude, that's a ton of money. That's a ton of money. That's $1 million right there.
Yeah.
Crazy idea. I know. Crazy idea.
If it's like if you build it, if they will come type of deal.
Yeah, and I think really looking at this whole rebrand, refresh, we are Xbox thing, it's really, going to fortify Game Pass with clear differentiation and sustainable economics. Like that right there, that sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo, but it's like, hey, we're going to make sure there's clear marketing communication, what the difference between Ultimate, this, that, and the starter, you know what I mean? Because it kind of blurs the line a little bit from what it is. And really, like, we're supposed to be getting some stuff on Project Helix next month as well. So it's like they are really doubling down. And I'm like, it's good when a team is hungry. You know what I mean? I feel like this is when somebody really wants to make a difference and they're putting their nose to the grindstone and they're making it happen. Because
Yeah.
as we're about to talk about, Xbox hasn't been doing that great and actually kind of fell uh down in how much they made and everything. So let's jump to that. Xbox revenue falls in the latest Microsoft earnings report, and this is by Robert DeFelici at Insider Gaming.
So Xbox revenue has dipped from the previous quarter, according to Microsoft's latest earnings report. On April 29th, Microsoft released its third quarter fiscal year earnings report. When examining the Xbox specific portions of the report, a decrease in revenue is evident in the first quarter following Phil Spencer's retirement and Asha Sharma's appointment as head of the division. Of course, as Sharma only took over in February, neither her impact nor the strategies she's begun to implement are reflected here. Xbox revenue is down 10% from previous quarter per earnings report. The information provided by Microsoft notes that Xbox content and services revenue declined 6.6% year over year. Xbox revenue was 5.334 billion with a B, down from 5.72 billion with a B at this time last year. There was a 10.4% decrease from the previous quarter when the division's revenue closed at 5.96 billion with a B. Consistent growth is a key pillar issue for Asha Sharma. Part of her strategy to revitalize the Xbox brand is simply that, restoring the brand name. Sharma and Matt Booty, brand's CCO, recently put out a joint memo discussing how, moving forward, they would be moving away from the Microsoft gaming branding and focusing solely on the Xbox name. Sharma is eyeing the next 12 months as a significant time frame that she hopes will see Xbox return to growth. Quote, "We are wanting to see Xbox return to growth next year, and so we've got work to do," she'd say in an interview with Stephen Totillo at GameFile. "There's no silver bullets, and our focus is going to be how many players are playing every single day in the Xbox ecosystem." Xbox hardware revenue decreased 33% year over year, consistent with the previous quarter's declines. Overall, Microsoft's total brand revenue increased 18% to 82.9 billion with a B. And again, when you start seeing just decline, like, of course, the hardware isn't really a significant indicator because this late into a console generation, majority of people that are going to own a console already have one. Like, this is for the families who have like multiple kids who, okay, Johnny had got an Xbox a year or two ago for Christmas. Now Susie wants one because she's old enough now to have her own gaming console. So let's buy her that one. So the decline in console purchasing isn't that big of a surprise. But like when you start losing in the areas where that should be making you money and like should be increasing the revenue, that's when you have to go back to the drawing board. And of course, like with PlayStation, like in the PlayStation 4 era, when your back is against the wall, like, and you have to make sure because they didn't, even though they won the PS3 generation, it took them, like I said, to the 11th hour, and it was not great in the beginning. Like, they started off rough and they took they took a while for them to recover. So when your back is against the wall is when creativity shines, and when you have to just go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, let's get down to brass tacks. What worked with us, what worked for us in the past when we were successful, how can we get back to that, or how can we implement parts of that into our new strategy going forward? Because not everything back then is going to work work in today's world. Essentially, some will, some won't. But it's like what made people come to our ecosystem and spend their time and money in our gaming sphere? Like what can we do to bring those people back? And I think this is like getting down to what people want and like listening to the fans, because we talked about when she first took office that she is like actively listening to the fans and like interacting with them and whatnot. Some of them you don't need to always interact with because some of them are just going to troll you. But I feel like if you're given the reins to that, you should be smart enough to dictate who's really serious about a change and who's just trolling you. But I digress. I think it's a testament, and it's weird. Never in a timeline, I didn't think we'd be in this timeline where we're speaking positively about Xbox, and now and this is just a caveat of the show. You know what I mean? It's like we've got negative about PlayStation and positive about Xbox, when the last couple years it was somewhat reversed. Not all the time, but it was somewhat reversed. And maybe we see the changing of the guard. Like, obviously, only time will tell, because they're just making statements, trying to build the fan base, give them a backup, give them hope. And now it's time for them to put up or shut up. Yes, you gave us a nugget with lowering Game Pass price last week, but now it's like, all right, what big steps are you going to take for us going forward that that we can see and we respond well to? So only time will tell if this will work, if they can implement it in the right way and get Xbox back up. Because when everyone is succeeding, the gamers win.
So just looking at last year, 2025, and there, the article is like the revenue was down from 5.72 billion with the B to 5.34 billion. So it was like a 6% loss. But last year, if you look at this, May 2025, they raised the prices of the Xbox. September 19th, they raised it again. Effective date was October 3rd. So it's like you look at that and it's like, okay, one, they weren't really selling that well in 2025 because of the first price increase. And then you increase the price again. And it's like, I understand you're trying to make up for tariffs and all of this stuff. But when you really get down to it, it's like, how much of that actually affected their bottom dollar? I know this is talking about sales of consoles and everything, but it's like, that's a big part of it. Like, if people aren't buying consoles, you can play on PC, you can play on xCloud and all that, but it's like how many people are doing that? You know what I mean? Playing on xCloud, maybe on PC there is a part of it, but then you get with Game Pass going up. That increased in October of last year, which goes to, it's like how much content services being down 6.6%. I know myself, I know several people, I can probably name 10 or 15 people that canceled Game Pass because of that $10 increase. That says a lot right there. And then you look at, like, last year was a pretty strong year up until like the final quarter, where all that they put out in the final quarter was actually, let's see, it was Outer Worlds 2. Well, yeah, Call of Duty and then Outer Worlds 2. And it's like,
that's crazy.
Is that moving the needle? And I know Double Fine also put out Keeper as well. That's not moving the needle.
The Lighthouse game.
Yeah, as much as I love Double Fine, that's not moving crazy sales numbers and everything. That's an art game. So it's like Outer Worlds 2, I know, didn't review amazing. People weren't clamoring for it. It was just too much of not Obsidian. Was it Obsidian? Yeah, Obsidian in 1 year, because they did 3 games last year.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, the rest of it, like, I felt like Doom reviewed well, sold well. Like, there was some good stuff, but even the beginning of the year, they haven't launched anything in the first quarter of 2026.
True. I mean, we're getting Forza Horizon 6 in a few weeks, so that'll be like their first major release. But again, that's almost halfway through the year. And so they're losing ground. Now, PlayStation really hasn't launched anything huge either. But
Soros launched yesterday.
Soros. Yeah, excuse me. Sorry, I forget about that. Only because it doesn't interest me. But I did forget about that. It is my bad. But when Wolverine drops, that's going to be huge for them. But I just know, like, Gears of War E-Day supposedly, and then Halo Combat campaign evolved, and then Fable anniversary, or not the anniversary, but the Fable remake supposedly this fall, despite maybe rumors of an internal delay. But if all, like, their back end is going to look strong if everything hits. So it's going to be like an opposite of last year, where like the first half of the year looked strong, and then the back half kind of tailed off. Looks like the reverse. The front end doesn't hold a lot of promise, but then the back end, if everything does come out like it's supposed to, will hit.
Yeah, and I would love to see the growth of Game Pass from last week's announcement that is going down to like the next
True.
few weeks. You know what I mean? Like, give me like a month. I
Yeah.
would love to see how many people would return to Game Pass now that it is cheaper. It is technically
Yeah.
$2 more than it used to be, but it is cheaper. And with Forza Horizon 6 fixing to come out, and I know that is like one game that people were really, really wanting to go to Japan in that series. We're finally getting that. It's like, is that going to help move the needle and everything? So, yeah, like I said, it's going to be a much heavier back end of the year for Xbox, as long as they keep getting really good titles from third parties, strengthening that relationship with Game Pass, even getting some exclusives or time locked exclusives on their consoles, I think will be a big thing. I know Phil did a lot of work with Square Enix and other Japanese companies and everything. Like, if they continue to nurture those relationships, I think they will continue to grow. And also, always thinking about the consumer, going back to that Gabe Newell thing. It's like, is your service better than what you can get pirated?
Exactly.
If it is, people are going to buy it.
Wouldn't it be crazy, like thinking about like, strengthening their, ties in Japan? Wouldn't it be crazy? And I don't think they would do this on the last title, but we've seen crazier things in the games industry. Is if they got a timed exclusive, like, they've been always behind in the first two parts, but if they were to come out for the final part of Final Fantasy VII and be like, it's going to be a 6 month timed exclusive, that would be crazy. I don't think it would, just because one, it's the final part, and I don't even know if the first two, like the second part, I think the first part just finally came to Xbox within the last 6 months. I don't know if Rebirth has come out to Xbox yet, but it wouldn't make sense technically, for timeline wise, but that's just my first thing. Is like, what a crazy get that would be.
Yeah, Rebirth is scheduled for release on the X and S on June 3rd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. Is that what they're calling the whole thing? Is Rebirth?
Well, that's
When
part two. They haven't given the official
Okay.
title to part three.
I'm seeing if it's. I think it's come to for part one's already come to it. I'm looking it up.
Part one has come
Okay.
several years after it was supposed to, because I remember it saying, in the watermark on PlayStation is like, for at least a year. You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, fans were all like, oh, it'll come in 2021 to Xbox, and then just kept going, and no mention of it coming to Xbox.
Yeah, it came in the 22nd of January of this year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm curious how many units have been sold on the Xbox side.
Yeah. Oh, I think a bigger get. Well, maybe not a bigger get, but like a more feasible get would be Kingdom Hearts 4, like as a timed console exclusive.
Yeah, I don't like it. Would be a huge get, but like with Kingdom Hearts has always been a PlayStation thing first.
Correct.
With 1 and 2 being just on that. So I know they've really partnered with Final Fantasy 14 and everything.
Correct. And their bigger partnership has been with Sega and the Yakuza franchise lately. I know what was that one? The turn-based one with when they switched protagonists. I forget
Tactics.
the name of it. No, Yakuza.
Oh,
yeah,
like a dragon.
Yes, thank you. Like a Yakuza, like a dragon. When it went turn-based and it came out, it was like a timed exclusive, at least on series. Because I think it came to PlayStation 4, it just didn't come to PlayStation 5 right away. It came like 6 months later.
Yeah, if they can do something like that, or like, dude, just think about if Xbox would have been the only console that had Crimson Desert.
Oh my God! Especially now, like with the
Yeah,
way it's
especially
popping off.
now. Yeah. Like it would be doing some gangbuster stuff. So I think really finding the third parties like Sandfall, like finding those diamonds in the rough
Ooh, yeah.
in the indie side and not buying them. Don't put your cart before the horse at this point in time. Partner with them, give them resources to help them develop. And then
Mhm.
it's like you make it where it's like, hey, we're going to help you develop, help you get your stuff going. We're going to help you with marketing, all of this, but we're going to get X back to cover that cost and then a percentage on top of that to,
Correct.
blah, 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 blah. And then that way, it's like, it's not only helping a team that needs that, but it's also like getting that out to more people because like I'm wondering how many people played Expedition 33 through Game Pass.
Hmm. It's fair.
I'm looking it up. Expedition
I feel like it was a lot.
played Expedition 33 on Game Pass. I got a thing that I can just talk to and it makes it so much easier for me than
Yeah.
having to type it all out. They haven't publicly said the exact number. The game was confirmed to be the biggest new third party launch on Xbox Game Pass of 2025,
Yeah.
based on unique users in the first 30 days. Um, However, we can infer some sales from scale from the overall sales of Clair Obscura. Has sold 8 million copies total across all platforms. The game launched on day one on Xbox Game Pass, which means a significant portion of those sales came from Game Pass players or were driven by Game Pass exposure. As for engagement metrics, only 29.5% of Xbox players made it through the Ancient Sanctuary achievement, a midpoint milestone in Act 1, meaning over 70% players dropped off before reaching that point. Like, even with that, it's like they played it. You know what I mean? They played
Yeah.
a good bit of
Right
it. If you're getting like
through the first
30,
act, like that's a sizable chunk of the game.
yeah, that's a pretty big chunk of, all of that. So I think that's what Xbox needs to do. And I think next year when we're talking about this earnings report and everything, we're going to see a huge shift if this is the key word, if they
Correct. Yeah.
keep up the momentum and keep their eye on the ball. Don't
Mm-hmm.
lose this, Asha and Matt. Like, y'all keep doing what
Mm-hmm.
you're doing because this is the first time that I'm somewhat excited about Xbox because man, I used to love Xbox. I used to be hardcore for the 360. And then since then,
Yep.
the Xbox One just kind of threw water on that fire and I haven't really been excited. Like Doom the Dark Ages was the first time that I was excited about an Xbox game in a
Correct.
long time.
Yeah. I'm about to say yeah. Since Gears 5, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. And God,
So
Gears 5 was like 2019 or something like that.
19. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's been a very, very long time. So I definitely want more. I want more awesome things. So,
But you know
everybody.
what? But you know what? In the meantime, you can get some awesome small things that we're about to discuss.
Yes, because it's time for the Patreon Quick Hits. The Patreon Quick Hits are brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Go and support the Nerd Cave by getting your very own Nerd Cave membership to help us continue to make awesome shows just like this one. Become part of the ship, part of the crew. Help support a 1.5 person business over at patreon.com/nerdcave. Now, time for the Patreon Quick Hits.
First up, Ingrid joins Street Fighter 6 on May 28th as its latest DLC character. Google exec Jack Busser claims almost every major game studio uses AI, but many aren't willing to disclose it. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline 2's first DLC, titled Loose Cannon, is out now. Nagoshi Studios deletes YouTube account after reports of Gang of Dragon had its funding pulled by NetEase. 5 Annapurna published games are getting Switch 2 versions with two already out now. Sega Universe Initiative highlights Outrun, Streets of Rage, and more. Pokemon Pokopia update expands ability to move Pokemon centers. Michael B. Jordan and Christopher McQuarrie team up for the Battlefield video game adaptation movie. Final Fantasy XIV Evercold expansion has been revealed and will be coming in January of next year. Final Fantasy XIV is coming to Switch 2, but with an expensive catch. I heard a lot of subscriptions are and like online registration is going to be involved. Neon Genesis Evangelion is coming to Final Fantasy XIV with a crossover raid series called Ghosts of Desire. Final Fantasy XIV Evercold to radically change gear and introduce evolved combat system. Assassin's Creed Hexy game director Benoit Ricker, however you pronounce it, exits Ubisoft just months after the departure of the previous creative director. However, Ubisoft downplays the report of Assassin's Creed Hexy staff leaving project and calls it just a standard part of development. Assassin's Creed Hexy leak suggests magical abilities have been removed, including the power to control a cat. Like I kind of talked about this last week, Assassin's Creed 1 is reportedly the series' next remake. Alien Isolation 2 seemingly teased a new video posted by Sega in Creative Assembly. Star Wars Galactic Racer release date seemingly leaked on Steam for October 6th. Get excited, Zach. Resident Evil Requiem hits 7 million sales milestone. Resident Evil Requiem sales prompt Capcom to raise profit forecast. Requiem minigame DLC is unlocked after beating the main story. Xbox testing new Starter Edition Game Pass tier for Discord Nitro subscribers. Power Wash Simulator 2 gets Star Wars DLC this summer. Valve confirms Steam controller price point at $100 and a release of May 4th, and promises more news on the Steam machine soon. Arc Raiders Riven Tide unveils massive beach-themed update with new seaside map and a turbine enemy. Crimson Desert has sold so well, Pearl Abyss has reportedly given every employee a $3,400 bonus. Just saying. It's how you treat your workers instead of laying them off. Mass Effect Andromeda actor blames EA for the game's quality and says it was forced out of the door too early and became the punching bag of the week. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers IP has been acquired by Digital Brothers. Captain Majima joins Sonic Racing Crossworlds alongside the Goromaru today. LA Noire could return as Take-Two boss says they want to do something in the future with all of its IP. Report, Spiders Studio is shutting down just 6 weeks after the launch of Greedfall 2. The Blood of Dawnwalker sets a release date for September 3rd. Nintendo's next animated film gets an April 2028 release window, and after getting the Call of Duty and Elden Ring movies by mid 2028, it looks like it's going to be a blockbuster spring summer of video game movies. Director of The Last of Us Online says former colleagues still tell him how amazing it was going to be. Sure, that's why they didn't have any issues and they didn't have to cancel it. Sure, we'll go with that. Take-Two CEO addresses GTA 6 price, saying, quote, "Our job is to charge way, way, way less of the value delivery." Even though it's not yet May, new PlayStation Plus Essential free games for May have been announced. For the month, you get Football Club 26, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, and 9 Souls with SOLS. Thick as Thieves will launch at $5 on May 20th with introductory campaign and expanded upon with future content. Monument Valley CEO says ideals like full-time employment and job security are too romantic in game development. And lastly, Tony Hawk once modded his friend's PS1 to get early Tony Hawk's Pro Skater feedback.
Well, there you go. Man, just imagine giving employees money when they do something awesome.
It's such a weird concept, you know what I mean? Like
Crazy concept.
It's almost like if you treat them right, they'll keep wanting to work for you.
And I would go ahead and say I've never heard of Momentum Valley. I don't know anything about them. Let's look them up. Momentum
Oh, it's
Valley.
Monument Valley.
Monument. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Monument Valley games, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would not work for that dude
Oh
at
yeah.
all.
It's like full time and you know was it full time employment and job security are two remain. And I know he was probably trying to say that it's becoming less and less of a thing in the industry, but it made it sound like he's like don't count on this if you come work for my company. I'm like, okay, dude, like with you're shutting you're risking shuttering your doors by saying that because no one will come and want to work for you.
Yeah. Like Monument Valley like did really well. Like it won a lot of awards. Like it's like a puzzle kind of
Uh,
mobile game and everything. But dude, I would not. There's no way on God's green earth I'm going to work somewhere where full time employment and job security too romantic in game development. No, like especially in this climate. Like in
yeah.
you're telling me like right off the bat, hey, just letting you know, he can be fired at any time. And I know there's
Yep.
a lot of at will employment. Like I've worked at will employment like all my adult life and everything. But
Yeah.
unless you unless you screw up, you pretty much got a job type deal. You
Correct.
know what I mean? So yeah, I don't like that at all. But dude, question for you. Do you
Hmm.
think we are about to get into a renaissance, which I feel like a lot of the gaming properties that we've saw turn into TV shows and movies have been good? Do you
Yeah.
think the next wave is going to be of the same quality, or do you think we're about to get hit with what we've gotten in the past, which is mediocre at best?
So off rip, just and I asked you this last week, um, when we were talking about like Elden Ring and Call of Duty. Is I feel like Call of Duty could be one of the ones that flops. Now it could be wrong, but just because they're trying to whether it's like they're pressured by living up to the name of Call of Duty, or whether they just don't make an interesting story or whatever, or people are tired of like they just want to play the game, they don't want to watch a movie about the game or whatever. I feel like that could be potentially bad. Elden Ring, because it's basically one of those games that can do no wrong, right? Like it's won Game of the Year awards, it's sold all these copies, like people just love it to death, and like the Soulsborne genre in general is beloved by a lot of people. I feel like just on that merit, I feel like financially it will do well. Now, will it do well like story wise? Like, will it be like critically acclaimed? Who knows? It depends on like I know like people it was a mixed thing when Nick Offerman was announced as one of the cast. It's like some people like who love Nick Offerman are like, oh, cool. I can't wait to see what he does because I know he played a more serious role in The Last of Us season one. As I think it was Bill was his name.
Yeah.
And then, but then some people were like, they're not taking this casting seriously. They're putting comedians in there. I'm like, okay, cool, but I mean, give it a chance, before you just poo poo it type deal. So I feel like Elden Ring could be a mixed bag, but I think overall that will do well. So I think, and it depends on what this new Nintendo movie will be. I know a lot of rumors are already pointing to like a Donkey Kong spinoff in
Mm-hmm.
the Mario universe. So I know, and I might get flack for this. I know a lot of the games, like what was it, Tropical Freeze, and I know Bonanza have been well received and well reviewed. But I know it doesn't have a lasting effect. Like once they come out, then it's like the people who play them, but then it like drops off after a few months. Like people don't hold it in the same breath as like a Mario. Like even I feel like in the same breath as like a Luigi. You know what I mean? So I feel like it Donkey Kong, if it is Donkey Kong, unless the story is just told so immaculately and so differently than what we've seen portrayed in the games, I feel like that could also not do as well as the. I know Galaxy has not been as well received as the first Mario movie, but just in the fact of like the two Mario movies like did okay to great, I feel like it might have a chance not to live up to that expectation as well. So I feel like just out of those three video game movies that we know, two out of those three could potentially be bad or not do as well. And you know, the Battlefield, I feel like if the Battlefield movie somehow relaunches in the same year, I know we didn't get a date for it. I know they're just now getting like the casting, like the big names and the directors going, but let's just say for the sake of argument it does launch in 2028. You mean to tell me we're going to have two war movies based on two first person shooter video games in the same year? I don't know about that, Chief. You know what I mean? So it depends. There's a lot of ifs, and we've got a lot of time. We've got about 2 years between now and when those movies will come out. Again, as we say all the time on the show, only time will tell. But I feel like just off cuff, two out of those three could be bombs.
Yeah, I don't think Battlefield will do well because one is like, yes, Battlefield 6 sold well. Not going to lie about that because it was something different than what Call of Duty has been shoveling down our gullet. But I don't think of good storytelling when I think of Battlefield's series. Like Battlefield 1 had an interesting one because we went to World War I and everything. But overall, the story wasn't that amazing. It was kind of disjointed because you would jump across to different people and all of that. Call of Duty, I think, is just going to be action. I wouldn't be surprised if they got Dwayne The Rock Johnson or John Cena in there or some crap like that.
Oh boy.
Elden Ring, this is what I think the big problem Elden Ring is going to have. Yeah, Batista in there. Elden Ring, it's going to be hard to it's going to be hard to get the common person to go watch this. Like, yes, there are going to be tons of people that are Elden Ring fans, but how are you going to get all that lore and have somebody understand that complex world, the politics, the whatever else in there within a 2.5 hour movie, if it's that long?
Correct. Yeah.
And then you've also got the Zelda movie that's coming out that they've started working on. So
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so it's like there's some good ones, but I think we're fixing to hit the point where we're getting mediocre stuff and people are going to get fatigued because they're getting crap. Same kind of stuff we had with Marvel and Star Wars.
Right. So and then I forget who it was, but someone came out this week and said that people didn't get superhero fatigue with Marvel movies. They got bad movie fatigue, which is actually a legitimate argument. Like, it's just like with anything before Marvel blew up, right? Like with action movies or, you know, drama movies or whatever, you know, or like romance movies. It's like people, you know, don't get fatigued by the genre. They get fatigued when the movie itself is bad and it just reflects bad on the genre. Like, you know, like it's anime, you know, anime goes through the same thing. It's like you could have two battle shonen go head to head and people love either one or the but love one or the other, but it's also subjective too. Like people like different things for different reasons, but it's like, let's just say for the sake of argument that, you know, JJK hit and Demon Slayer didn't, you know what I mean? Like JJK hit, but it could be the outlier, conceived the outlier because it's good, and then like other battle shonen like Demon Slayer or Attack on Titan or whatever are bad, and it's like, oh, we hate battle shonen. It's like, well, no, it's just there's only been one good one in the genre in the last 5 years.
Yeah, and I feel like the manga side of it does really well on weeding out stuff that isn't worth time, because if it's like, oh, your metrics aren't high, you better wrap it up because you're getting cut after this next issue or whatever. So I feel like just because of how long movies and games take, like it's a lot harder to do that. But I think we're about to get hit with a slew of really crappy movie tie-ins because we've already gotten Gran Turismo that wasn't great. We've already got Uncharted that wasn't great. It did well financially and reviews, but nothing like Mario, and it's
Yeah.
nothing like The Last of Us or Fallout, you know what I mean? So it's like, when you're doing this, like, please protect the IP that you've got a hold of, because there's a lot of fans. And then also it's like, think about, it's like, if you do really well, you can get a bunch of movies out of this,
Correct.
If you do this well, you can get a bunch of movies out of this. If you do it wrong, you get what happens with Henry Cavill in The Witcher, and he doesn't want to do it anymore because he's tired of fighting the writers.
Yep. 1000%. And then you get replaced.
Yep, you get replaced, and then guess what? They canceled the show because it sucks.
It sucks.
So
shocker.
Shocker. There you have it, everybody. That is our show this week. Let us know what you thought down in the comments below. This has been Zach
and Derek.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye-bye.